Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. My name is Cynthia Wheeler.
And I'm Erica Middleton.
And we are no longer your graduate assistant.
No longer.
We are no longer your graduate assistant in the office of the Dean of the Chapel, but we are your assistant program coordinators and your moderators for tonight's program. Erica.
It feels so good to be back, Cynthia. Just so good.
So good. I have missed communal conversations, truly. I think, obviously, like, this is a space for the students to just really bare their souls, tell us what's going on, and really speak to the community about what they need to hear about. This is going to be a great year.
Right. It really will be. And, my favorite word is transformative. And I really think that speaks to the space that we have here. It's just a space where we can understand students' perspectives, share it with the broader community, and really have a dialogue and interact. So I'm just excited for us to get back into Communal Conversation Season 2.
Yes, absolutely. If you are in the audience right now, if you are watching online, please let us know where you are tuning in from. If you're a Howard student, let us know your class, where you're from. Just give us your whole Howard intro. We want to know who we are talking with tonight. But tonight we definitely have a great conversation. It's going to be about being Black in this pandemic. We are now 19 months in, and so we wanted to talk to different students about their perspective, what they've been going through, how they've been seeing the world, and what they expect to see going forward. So it's time to introduce you to our excellent panel, and let's hear them.
Hey, good evening. Good evening. My name's Chris Bonner. I'm a graduate assistant at Rankin Chapel, representing Las Vegas, Nevada, and major is School of Divinity and School of Social Work, and glad to be here, y'all.
Hey, y'all. I'm Destiny Kanzler. I am a senior political science major, English minor by way of the Brooklyn, New York, and I'm so happy to be here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Morgan Gibson. I am a graduating senior chemical engineering major from Huntsville, Alabama, and I currently serve as Miss College of Engineering and Architecture on the Howard University Royal Court.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Timing Jones. I'm a senior biology major, chemistry minor from Rahway, New Jersey, and I currently serve as the chaplain for the Howard Gospel Choir.
Hi, I hope everyone's doing well tonight. My name is Monica Moore. I am a sophomore health science major from Fort Pierce, Florida, and I am a member of the Chapel Assistants.
Wow, thank you all. We are so excited to get into a great conversation tonight. But first, I'd like to invite you all into a word of prayer. If everybody could get into their best prayer posture. God of infinite love, we come to you tonight, thanking you for the return to Howard University, our precious gift, the Mecca. We thank you for another installment of Communal Conversations where we can come together and dialogue with each other. We thank you for another day that we were able to get up, go to class, and get all of our things done. Thank you for the Office of the Dean of the Chapel, and thank you for the numerous things that Howard University provides to this community and this world. Please protect us, keep us safe, and keep us on our way. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Erica, so much for that. We're going to go ahead and get started with the conversation. So we want to start you all off with a question, very easy question. Well, I hope it's easy. We've been in school now a month, first month back on campus after a year and a half. How are you all feeling? We'll just start with you, Chris.
This whole entire semester feels like it's a blur. Man, it seems like as soon as I blink my eyes, another week done passed by, and so the professors that I have are very graceful, but I really can't wait until I can get myself back in tune. But still trying to give myself grace throughout this whole entire semester, though.
Absolutely. Definitely. I think we're all in need of some extra grace, extra portions. Destiny, how about you?
It's been a process for sure because during the pandemic, I actually had to take a semester off. So I'm like relearning how to be a student, as well as working on top of that because that's new for me. And some of my teachers have been providing grace, others not so much. So handling all of that has been just a whirlwind. And like Chris, I'm very excited to just figure out my own routine with everything now. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm glad you're learning. I'm glad you're relearning and ready to get in there. Morgan, you want to share?
Yes, I would love to. So, as I mentioned, I'm a chemical engineering major. So, I spent my half of my sophomore year and my junior year online. And one thing that you know about math and a lot of science is that it's cumulative. So, you build off of what you learned previously, and engineering is no different. It's just applied mathematics and applied science. So, I feel kind of behind. I was in class today, and my teacher was talking about material balances and energy balances, and I had a fever dream because I was like, oh my gosh, that I'm supposed to know how to do that. For a chemical engineer, that's like 1 + 1 = 2. Like it is the foundation, is the basics. And I literally had to relearn some things that I should have already, as a senior, like should have already known. So I kind of felt bad a little bit about myself, especially today in class. And these past weeks, I've been feeling kind of behind, to be honest, but I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be in person.
That's totally understandable. I'm glad that you're sticking it out, though. I'm glad that you're here with us tonight and just able to share really what's fully going on. Thank you for that vulnerability and that honesty. Tamik, you want to add to this?
Yes, absolutely. So being back has been such a pleasure. I know for so long we've hoped to be back in person, to be back on campus. And it's nice just being able to see everyone again, who the same room, same vicinity as everyone again, seeing people you have not seen in a year and a half, being able to meet new people. And then also it has been kind of challenging adjusting back into the in-person climate, especially with classes. Like what Morgan said about how I'm a biology major as well. So a lot of my content is cumulative as well. So learning certain things in a virtual climate is not always necessarily the best. So transitioning is just like, okay, there's kind of a gap or a lack or a gray area. So trying to work harder to make up for the things that wasn't properly understood back then. But despite all the challenges we have with readjusting to be in person and all the restrictions that we still have due to COVID, it's still a pleasure and I'm still grateful that we are back.
Excellent. Thank you all. Thank you all. You're already giving me the warm feels. I love this vulnerability and this honesty. Monica, of course, last but not least, tell us how you're doing.
So like Mr. Chris said, trying to get back into the groove is my number one thing. One of the main things that I've been a highlight of being here is that, we were online for my freshman year. So having that, keeping the positivity throughout the entire time and making sure that we were uplifted, even though we were online. Now that I'm in person, it just feels like that wait time, it was like worth it because now I'm here, I'm encountering so many different personalities. But also the cyber issue did hit a bump in the road because a lot of my professors are like, yeah, those things are still due, honey. So it's been a lot of bags under the eyes and long nights, but that's college and I'm just gonna keep smiling.
Keep smiling, as you said. I definitely want to, piggyback off of what you said there. You're a sophomore. It's your second year at Howard. You actually started during this pandemic. You started in the virtual landscape. You as well, Chris. And I kind of want to speak to both of you as well as our other panelists. What has been your experience with building community at Howard, and what has your experience been with really, coming back to campus and meeting maybe some of your classmates for the first time, or, just being back to with your friends, your floor mates, your whoever you've met through your Howard journey. So what's community building been like for you? And we can start with Chris.
That first year, that was a transition, to go from seeing people and then abruptly go into this virtual land. But that first day, my first class was systematic theology, and seeing people in real life for the very first time. Whew, that was crocodile tears when it came down, but it was just that monumental moment to see people, to embrace them, have them embrace you. And, a lot last year, that first year of this dual program, it was tough, but the community was always there. And I mean, Howard is so special in such a way that there's no duplication of this. And so meeting people in person that poured into me when I didn't even know my cup existed. I mean, like that, the spirit of reciprocity was evident on that first day, and all we could do in that first couple of moments was just thank each other and praise one another for what we meant for what each other that first year. So seeing each other, it was dope. That's just to put it in a nutshell.
I love that. It was dope, and that pouring into you when you didn't even know your cup was there. That's a really powerful statement. I know you touched on it a little bit, Monica, but how has it been being on campus, being on the yard, actually getting a first year Howard experience?
It's been amazing. It's been really different because coming from Florida, the scenery is different here. The lifestyles are different here. It's just like I don't know, it's really a breath of fresh air. It's a new intake. My first class was Swahili. My first in-person class was Swahili. So the teacher's walking in, he's automatically starting with Swahili. He's like, this class is not written, it's more oral. So that's been the number one class that I can appreciate here. We have, in order to pass the class, you have to be active, you have to speak, you have to talk to we don't speak English in there. So it's just amazing learning it like that, and going from having biology and pre-calculus online and and Alex, and then going into, I see chalkboards, I see whiteboards, I see projectors. It just feels good. I see people who I don't have to text to express my emotions or to express how we feel in the class. We can speak up then, and we can ask the professor then, or we could get clarity on this then. It feels really good.
I'm glad it feels good. The in-person learning environment is definitely something that's just unmatched. So I'm glad you've been able to, come and return to that here at Howard. How about you, Destiny? What's your experience been with community, being virtual or being on campus, and how has that helped you?
Since coming back, I've definitely been more eager to be with my friends and to make more relationships and build them, because when we had to leave campus sophomore year, I was actually with Tymeek, and we just were like, oh, it'd be 2 weeks, it'd be a month maybe, then we'd be back, best friends, And then I didn't get to see him and our other friend Melissa for a year and a half. And it was just really sad. So now that I'm back, I've been talking to more people, I've been forming more relationships, and I've just been so happy to be with these people that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. So that's my favorite part about being back.
Wow, this is I love this. I love that you all are actually coming back to community, that you're excited to see. I think that's one of the things I definitely missed over the pandemic. And actually, Erica and I have talked many times. That's one of the reasons that we loved communal conversations so much. It allowed us to get back into community. I do want to kind of go back to something, or a couple comments that were made. when we did our opening about the adjustments that you all have been making from online learning now to in-person learning. Can you all talk about some of the adjustments you made during the pandemic and how you're kind of adjusting now, or what kind of adjustments you're making to make this transition easier, or if it's not working at all? And I'll start with Tamik.
Yeah, so I would say making sure you have like a set schedule, because now we actually have to be in physical places. Like, I guess one thing that was a pro about being in the pandemic and being in a virtual space is that you can be anywhere at a given time. You could even be in multiple places at a given time. So now that we are in person, it's like, okay, I have to actually plan to get there. I have to get ready to get there. I have to prepare myself mentally and socially because I have to actually interact with people. And then also, for me, what I found is slightly difficult is being that I don't live on campus. The virtual classes that I do have is just trying to find a quiet place to take my classes. Because, sometimes there's a meeting or sometimes there's an in-person class. So finding an adequate place for that. But we're adjusting.
Wow. We're adjusting. I think that's so interesting. Like, we were so used to that at home, right? Like, oh, it's not quiet in the house, and now I'm still back at school and it's still not quiet. Morgan, did you want to talk a little bit more about the adjustment between going back and forth?
Right. Definitely. Thank you. I also agree with Tymeek. There is an adjustment. There's an adjustment period beyond just, oh, now I physically have to be here, but going back to March 2020, like, oh, my room has to be clean because my camera has to be on. And we talk about like camera culture, because one thing that I kind of ran into was like, you kind of find that there is like an issue with equity, because now people can see into my home. And so like that was a big adjustment for me, where I was like, wow, like my camera's on and now you know what my room looks like, and I'm a little insecure about it, or maybe I love my room, this is my safe space. But nonetheless, like I feel like that was an issue that I ran into beyond just classes, but also like an internship that I had. Like my boss knew what my bedroom looked like. And so there was like this new adjusting to people just being really, really personal instantly. And so I think that was a big adjustment for me. But then also beyond, I actually loved online classes because my major is so hard. The flexibility of just being able to kind of decompress and just be like, you know what, I don't have to be on today and I can just go to class. And now that I'm back in class, like I said, it hit me like a ton of bricks physically being back in class, and really having to work super hard. So that's been an adjustment as well.
Wow, these are, I mean, excellent reflections. I know this has got to be got to be a difficult situation for you all. I know, Erica, you pointed out community a little bit, and I just wanted to shout out some of the community that I'm seeing in the comments right now. People are excited to see you all. I just want to let you all know that we have, Inez is in here. Yeah, Inez, Miracle. Yeah, even have Howard University Day of Service in here. Ready to see you all today. Anybody else, if you're watching, please let us know where you're watching from. We're excited to see you. So actually,
I think it's time for the break, the interlude.
it,
It is. I know in the past, we've done a few interlude videos, but for a new year, we wanted to try something new since we're returning to a new Howard. We'd love to return and, give you all a trivia question. So right now, we are going to give you a trivia question and ask you all to put it in the chat if you know the answer. So I guess I can share the question real quick.
Yep.
Who is the first dean of Andrew Rankin Memorial Chapel? If you know it, just put it in the chat right now. Hopefully the answers are going to come flying in, and we are excited to see.
Let's see if you know it. And if you don't know it, you can tell us where you're from.
It's okay. You can just keep reflecting. Well, I believe we have a correct answer. Thank you, Inez. The first dean of Andrew Rankin Memorial Chapel is Howard Thurman, who is an incredible figure, a mystic, a scholar, uh, just a phenomenal person. And we are so thankful for Dean Thurman, who is our first dean of the chapel.
Yes, excellent. He served from 1932 to 1944. If you want to know about Dean Thurman, if you want to look up any of his books, Meditations of the Heart, wonderful, wonderful book. I mean, honestly, just so many excellent writings. Definitely good for the soul. If you want to find out, we are just excited. We are so excited to see all the people. I'm sorry, I'm so excited to see all the people in the chat. We have people here joining you guys from New York, from Columbus, Ohio. People want to see you. I'm happy that you all are with us.
I'm happy too. And I think at this point, oh, Crystal in Florida. Okay. We love that. Florida's here. Yes. Inez, she is a celebrity, you know? Okay.
Shout out
Thank
to
you.
a regular on Communal Conversations last year.
Yes. And she always gave us great perspectives.
Excellent. From Philly, if you all want to see any of the old Communal Conversations, remember that you can always go back on the Rankin Chapel YouTube and see anything that we've already posted.
Absolutely. And I think, at this point, we can just hop back into the conversation. I think, we had a nice interlude there. But I did have a question for you all. And I guess my question that will, come back to is, what has the significance been for you to be at Howard right now in this moment, in this time? I know in the opening chapel service of the year, Dean Richardson made the point that students will come up to him and say, oh, I wish I went to Howard during the Black Panther movement. Oh, I wish I went to Howard during the Civil Rights movement. And now we're seeing that you guys are here during the COVID-19 pandemic. You've experienced the uprisings due to extrajudicial killings of Black lives. You've witnessed the insurrection. There's been so many culturally significant moments that have happened during this global pandemic. And what does it mean for you all to be at Howard in this space and in this time? We can start off with Destiny.
That's a very loaded question, but I guess I'll start with coming back to an institution with nothing but Black people and Black love has been very much needed, especially coming off of, like you said, a 19-month-long vacation and seeing so many people that looks like me, talks like me, just like me, being treated wrongly and poorly, and seeing so many people have opinions on whether or not our lives matter, to come to a place where we're all loving and there's so much joy has been very important to me, at least. And I hope that it's been important to y'all. And also, our generation just has so much to say about a lot of the things that are going on. And coming back to campus, as the administration has been adjusting, there have been a lot of things that we just don't appreciate as students. And we feel like we deserve more. And a lot of people have been speaking up, and we've been kind of holding each other's hand through everything to make sure that we get what we feel like we deserve. So yeah.
Thank you for that reflection, Destiny. I really appreciate that. How about you, Chris? What has the significance meant for you being at Howard during this time?
I think that's a great question. And, in this season, to breathe in this air, virtual or physical, I got revolution in my nostrils now. And so, to be at the Mecca, to so much pivotal change has happened. And, to be in this generation, I'm excited. And to look at some of my peers, colleagues, and, the undergrads, right now we're all a little bit uncomfortable. But I'm seeing so much greatness, and it's one of the greatest sights that I see. So just gleaning from that, I feel a responsibility to tag along and be pushed to my destiny along with my colleagues, and having the opportunity to digest the culture, the community. it's been phenomenal.
Wow, I like that. It's definitely a phenomenal thing. How about you, Tymeek? What has this significance meant for you?
So I think it's very significant. Also, one thing I want to say is sometimes we get caught up in the present and we don't realize that we are living in historical moments, that we are living in times that are going to be in textbooks. And one day our children, our grandchildren are going to ask us, what was it like living through this? What was it like going to Howard University during this time? And what I would say as a student who's becoming more of well, the significance is that it's very empowering to be surrounded by students at Howard University because we are surrounded by like-minded individuals who are feeling the same emotions, who are thinking the same thoughts. We're able to encourage each other, educate each other, and empower each other. We are going to gather and fight for what we think is right. We're going to gather together as a collective to express our thoughts and our ideas. We're going to come together to inflict change in the world so that we can see the change that we want to see.
Wow, that really, sums it up. It's just coming together and,
Mhm.
really as the collective and creating change. And I always appreciate Howard students for being so grounded in these fights. How about you, Morgan? Did you have a reflection on just the significance of this moment?
Yes, I did. One word that I would describe Howard students is that we're extremely innovative. So we are innovative in how we communicate. We are innovative in how we have culture, how we celebrate. There's so much innovation at Howard. And one experience I remember is I was working with the 50th year class. So one thing that Howard does is when it's time to graduate, they bring back the class that graduated 50 years prior. So in 2019, they had the class of 1969. And so one of the ladies, she graduated from the pharmacy school and she was asking us all these questions. And she was like, yeah, I was here during the Black Panther movement. So I was doing all the things. She was like, I was just out in the street. She said I had an afro. And so just understanding how proud of us she was. And, quite literally, I had been on campus for 5 minutes. But she was so proud of all the things that we had done. And I just can't wait to be a part of that, where people are asking me questions and telling me about their experiences. But beyond that, the students at Howard right now are innovative, and we see that in the pandemic. But we've also seen that in the fight for social justice within our community, within Black America.
Thank you, Morgan. That's really it. I think it's so interesting how you said 50 years ago in 2019 she came back and said she was a part of the Black Panther movement, and then 50 years later, we're still fighting fights for justice, and we're still fighting fights for liberation, and how we really, well, you all as Howard students have really picked up the mantle of the fight and are continuing to do great things in your communities. So that's not lost on me, and I really appreciate you sharing that.
Yes, you all are excellent. These are excellent reflections, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited, especially about Morgan, what you're talking about with the innovation, and Chris with this revolution. I know Erica and I had a conversation a few weeks back, even in regards to 9/11, and how it has changed our brains, right? And how we are so excited about the college age students now, and how you all are walking through and just able to see a future that sometimes even I can't see. And so I just want to know, I want to start with Monica. What do you see going forward in the future? What does the future look like for you? I know we're not out of the pandemic yet, but what does coming out of this pandemic look like for you?
I see my future as more so not just academically and going to medical school and getting the medical degree and going to residency. I really see our future as going to this school. One thing I've learned about it is that the Black people surrounding us, they give us courage. I feel so much courage to create more platforms, to speak out on more things, to bring more awareness to things. And I feel even more encouraged now during the pandemic when a lot of things are not being spoken on. I feel more encouraged now because people are creating platforms at Howard University. Students who are coming straight out of high school are speaking out about things that you would expect someone at a level of master's degree to speak about. It feels like it's ageless now. You have no boundaries and it feels boundless. And I feel as though my future going forward, I'm going to feel even more courageous on speaking out on things, even joining even more platforms, serving more. I just feel as though my future is not just going to be based on a goal of academics and a goal on my career, but it's going to be based on me growing socially.
I love that. Destiny, what does the future look like for you?
I'm gonna take Monica's word, and I agree. Like, being courageous is something that over the pandemic I was working on, because time being taken away from me, it felt like really just gave me a lot of time to reflect on myself and what I was doing, and how much time before the pandemic I was wasting on not doing the things I wanted to do and being the person I wanted to be. And coming back on campus and seeing everybody do everything that they want to do, like everyone running for the pageants and doing classes that they might not have done otherwise, has just really inspired me to be the person that I want to be proud of 25 years from now or 30 years from now. So I want to go to law school, but besides that, I want to join like the Peace Corps and volunteer, and I want to teach kids, and I just want to be a very loving and encompassing human being. And that's just something that I've just become more passionate about.
I love that. I want you all to be courageous, and I want you all to go for it. We actually have a question in the comments that we want to pull up before we wrap up. And the question is from Joseph Dillard. The question is, have you found your mission in the pandemic? So can we start with Taimik?
Thank you for the questions. But have I found my mission in the pandemic? In the pandemic, what I will say is I found a sense of a stronger sense of confidence and stepping in my purpose, stepping in my gifts, stepping in my talents, not being timid to embrace the things that God has given me, walk in the light that He has given me, that He has called for me to shine. And that is something that the pandemic has taught me to do. So coming out, I said, no, I have to do it because people are waiting for the gifts that God has given me. So I shall not withhold that from them.
Excellent. I love that. I love. Morgan, have you found your mission?
Oh, that's such a great question. Beyond just learning to appreciate myself, see, because I think that's one thing that the pandemic gave us time to reflect on who we are and taking the time to take care of me. Because I really didn't have time. I didn't have the opportunity to cater to anyone else. I didn't have the opportunity, literally, to be involved in anyone else's life in a major way. So I think one thing was taking time really to take care of you was important. But beyond that, I think my mission in life is mentorship. Like I was I used my friends as FaceTime therapists during the pandemic. I mean, it was to an extreme point. But in that, I felt so loved. I was able to lean on people because, like, I'm such a social person. Like, I need energy. I need people, and so I was turning everybody into FaceTime therapists. I was like, "Girl, let's talk all day." But beyond that, I feel like they were able to pour into me. I was able to pour into them. I think I was in some way able to mentor and be mentored. I think then that was just such a great time for me in that aspect. But socially, quarantine was horrible. But as far as learning, just to be with my friends on FaceTime, it was just a great experience in that regard.
Excellent. And Chris, I would definitely want you to get in on this question, especially as a graduate student, School of Divinity and social work. How have you found your mission during this pandemic?
You know, this I came into my own mission that this that was tethered with hustle, work culture, and this pandemic really revealed to me that my mission would go with or without me. So and what got me is to be more restful And, to be my ancestors' wildest dreams, not all of them wanted to have the goal of that's a tethered to hustle culture, but a lot wanted to rest. And so, I'm trying my hardest to look at rest as being revolutionary. And so if anything, if I can, continue that mission to find places of being restful, mentally, physically, and spiritually. The School of Social Work and Theology has really put me in a place that I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you got to sit down. And so my mission, looking at the 21st century, even being on Zoom, having Zoom fatigue and Black fatigue, all this fatigue. Sometimes you just got to rest, and just as God has used yes as being holy, no is also holy as well.
No is holy.
Amen.
No is holy. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. There was a comment in the chat. Mission
about mission, yeah. Mission over major. And I just thought that was so impactful. That's something that President Frederick actually brings up a lot. And Inez said mission over major, just calling back to what President Frederick says our time at Howard is supposed to be about. And it's just so powerful that you all have been able to find your mission here at Howard through a global pandemic, through all the things that we've had happening over these past 19 months. And Hudo says, that's good. Rest is revolutionary. And it absolutely is, Chris. That was just such a poignant reflection you gave right there. And how, if we're not right within ourselves, how are we able to serve our communities if we can't rest and really recuperate? So I think that's really powerful. Another comment from Viv is the pandemic was definitely a time of reflection. Being back on campus must be inspiring. And just hearing from our students here, it definitely sounds like it's been inspiring to them. But Cynthia, I think
I know. The time always flies, but here we are.
Always.
Here we are, you all. We just want to get a final word from you all. What is it to be Black in this pandemic? What has it meant to you, and what does it mean for you going forward? If we can get one word, and we'll go around the circle, starting with Chris.
So it's just one single word, or it's just you're saying one sentence, because you can't tell a preacher that. So it's like
Look, I understand. Look, it's one word. Wink, wink.
Look, all I'm gonna say, being Black in the pandemic, Carnegie Hall is where it's at, y'all. So you're saying the chapel assistants, everything that's going on at Rankin. I mean, you're saying I had a whole bunch of experiences being Black in pandemic, but when I came in Carnegie Hall, it's lit, y'all. It's dope.
I love it. Destiny?
If I was to put it into one word, being Black during the pandemic is revolutionary. Everything about us is revolutionary. We've gone through a lot, especially due to we are not just Black. So there's a lot of intersectionality that goes in with us. And just the fact that we've made it here after all this time, revolutionary.
Love it. Morgan, give us your word.
My word is always yet. We serve a yet God. So I always use that word. That's always going to be my word for the rest of my life. And it's definitely the word of the pandemic. We're not out of it yet. But so I just think that for life and forever, that's my word. And thank you so much for having me, Erica and Cynthia.
Of course. And Tymeek?
And I would say my word is most definitely an experience. Being Black in a pandemic is an experience.
I love it. Now, last but certainly not least, Monica, take us out. What's your word?
My word for being Black in the pandemic is bold. Being bold is a lot of people are stepping out, they're speaking up, it's more embracing, It's more conversations within your Black homes, within your Black churches, within your Black communities. And I just feel like we're more bold than ever right now.
What a phenomenal word to end on. Bold.
Bold. We're going to go boldly forward here. We are. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you all so much. This has been an incredible conversation, a great way to kick off this year. The boldness you've shared, the revolution you've shared, the reflections you've shared is just, it's inspiring.
It's truly taken a lot. I mean, communal conversations started actually as a communal movement, a way to let students talk about the experience of the pandemic and or the double pandemic that we were facing as Black people. And here we are rounding the corner again. This has been such an experience. Thank you all to our panelists for just sharing with us, for being so vulnerable, and for giving of yourselves in your time. Thank you to Dean Richardson, of course, for letting us come back again and do this with you all. This is always my favorite part of the week. Of course, thank you to all the chapel staff who help us get this together. Special thanks to our producer, Mr. Joseph Dillard, who's in the background. You all don't see him, but the man works hard. Okay. Thank you to our audience members who come out, faithfully to listen to these students. You make this just a great time. And thank you for hearing these students and making this a safe space for them to come. Please, please, please come back to the Rankin Chapel YouTube. Go to any of the Rankin Chapel Instagram, the Twitter, Facebook at Howard U Chapel, and find out what's going on in the chapel. Some great things that we have happening. This Sunday, we have Michael Eric Dyson coming to chapel service at 11 a.m. You can catch it on YouTube, of course. And if you are a student, please meet us under the tent on the yard. You know where to find us, okay? We also have in the next week, Student Leader Commissioning. President Wayne A.I. Frederick will be our speaker. It's going to be a great time. And if you are a student organization who has not signed up, you had better register because it's going to be a great service. And something that we just started today, looking forward to continuing it, Wellness Wednesdays on the yard. 12:15. It's a 30-minute wellness boost. Dean Richardson just gave us a word on self.
Phenomenal.
Okay. Okay. Come back because you want to hear what Dean Richardson has to say and you want to experience this. You know what?
I think that's it. This has been another phenomenal experience with Communal Conversations. And once again, we thank our student leaders who have joined us today. Give yourselves a round of applause. And I guess, we will catch you in 2 weeks and we will be back again for another installment of Communal Conversations. So thank you all for coming.
Bye.
Bye.
How can I convey to you in a way you'll understand? I'm nostalgic for my memories from the distant past, when I used to walk the campus yard and go to class. For the cool breeze of warm eves or nights, now not. For the thrill of doing things for which I wasn't caught. I have memories of happenings only I know now. The ones I made them with ain't reachable, they all spread out. Though we're far apart, I learned in class about diaspora, how we all spanned the globe and we came from Africa. Zooming in my senior year taught me about location and how it and memory are tied together. They make occasion, like being in Cook Hall's lounge, pouring out libations, like praising God in Crampton Rankin Chapel, giving adulation, like all-nighters found us IE Lab commemorating the buzz of voices giving way to the most dedicated, like the yard packed at homecoming graduation. Stark contrast in presentations, though they both about celebration. How can I convey to you in a way you'll understand? That this place is more than what's in the news. This place is more than picturesque aerial views. In its nuanced history you'll find the truth. This is my HBCU. This place is more than what's in the news. This place is more than picturesque aerial views. In its nuanced history you'll find the truth. This is my HBCU. I'm duly writing both generic, specific. Talking TPGP, toilet paper, Georgia Pacific. Listen close, cause if you blink your ears, you gon' miss it. To tell our story how I do and both don't miss it. I miss the ones who made me feel like more than just a number, than just a bank account that keeps the school from going under. I know that higher ed's a big business institution. I know that across the years due to debt and death we lost some students. May they rest in peace and power while we continue uphill battles for a more just, equitable future. Top reason, Howard, why I'll miss it. In that sea of blackness I ain't need to justify my existence. Home by the reservoir, home by the sea. Hampton for mom, Howard for me. If your question need form, please go listen and read. The HBCU secret sauce worth more than degrees. This place is more than what's in the news. This place is more than picturesque aerial views. In its nuanced history you'll find the truth. This is my HBCU. This place is more than what's in the news. This place is more than picturesque aerial views. In its nuanced history you'll find the truth. This is my HBCU. I hope to return one day to pilgrimage to the Mecca. And I don't like to say goodbye, so for now it's HBCU later.